Hello and welcome back to another episode of Ruining Your Childhood.
Welcome back to another episode of Ruining Your Childhood, one sculpt at a time. So the past few weeks we've been slowly creeping our way down Scooby-Doo lane, starting with Shaggy, then unleashing Scooby into the world, and I thought it was about time that we actually make something that they could run away from. So today we are going to be sculpting what I believe is one of the most iconic Scooby-Doo villains of all time, and of course I am talking about the deep sea diving ghoul himself, Captain Cutler. Now, for those of you that are wondering who Captain Cutler is, he is a villain from Scooby-Doo. Naturally. And that's all you get. I'm just kidding. Captain Cutler is one of those classic Scooby-Doo ghosts that somehow stuck with an entire generation. He's this eerie old deep sea diver that has a glowing suit and that would haunt anyone that would get a little too curious about the ocean. You want to get your toes wet? I don't think so. Not around Captain Cutler. He'll get you. He'll get you every time. But anyway, now that I've established the main structure of Captain Cutler's chrome dome, we could go ahead and start adding the little windows that are on the front and side of his helmet. And for this, I'm just using a variety of different round cookie cutters, slicing out these little rings. Once I was happy with the size and thickness of that first ring, we could go ahead and apply that to the front of the helmet, giving it a little tippy tap. Just a little tippy tap in a reshape. Once we have that pressed in, we can go ahead and do the exact same thing for the side windows, except I'm going to be making those a little bit thinner. From there, we could go ahead and start adding these little gribblies that I made off camera just by taking little bits of clay, making these random little circles and shapes. These are going to be little valves, and really honestly, I have no clue what the purpose of any of these are. It just makes the helmet look cool, because looking cool is really all that matters. But now that we have all the accoutrements on his helmet in place, we can go ahead and start adding the little bars that go around his viewing dome, windows, the eyes of the window to the soul. Okay. For this, I'm using really thin pieces of garden wire that I gave a slight curve to, placing these into a grid shape over top of the window. Once I was happy with the location of those and pressed them in, nice and firm like. And with the bars in place, the helmet is looking pretty good, so all we needed to do next is add little bolts going all the way around. And for this, I'm using the back end of this needle. This happens to be a needle for an airbrush, but it has a nice little circle shape, so I just go around pressing those in. With that, the helmet's looking pretty good, so we can go ahead and pop in the oven for its first bake. And with Captain Cutler's head back from the oven, we could go ahead and flip it over, revealing his hole. Went ahead and drilled this bad boy off camera that we're going to be using to insert this piece of armature wire into. This is going to be making up the main spine of his neck. Then we could start to bulk up his body. For this, I'm using a clay called Super Sculpey Ultralight. It's this very lightweight clay. I'm going to be using this instead of tin foil. It just makes it a little bit easier for me to handle instead of trying to finagle with the tin foil. But now that I was happy with the shape that I have, I could go ahead and start inserting his arms and legs. For this, I'm taking long pieces of armature wire, sticking those into the body. Then after giving him a quick stanky leg, we can move on to his arms. This, I'm just doing the exact same thing, taking long pieces of armature wire, just slightly shorter than the legs, pressing those into the side of the body, then it's off to the oven. And with his body back from the oven and his arms and legs locked into place, we could go ahead and rip them out, because I realized it would be easier to actually put things on them when they're not attached to the body. So once I had those ripped out, I could go ahead and start sleeving up his arms. For this, I'm going to be laying down a nice thick layer of this oven bake adhesive. Now I roll out a nice gray Tootsie Roll worth of clay, sliding that up that pole, give it a little bit of shape and refinement. Use the back end of my X-Acto knife, giving him that inner elbow wrinkle detail. And with that, I was pretty happy with how his arm was looking, so I went ahead and made the other one off camera. Now we could go ahead and slap those onto the side of the body. With his arms slapped onto the side of his body and looking good, we could go ahead and take my dirty phalanges and rub those bad boys in. And to finish off his arm nubs, we could go in with my silicone sculpting tool, just going over top of the surface of the clay, giving him some surface wrinkles, making his arms look a little more worn. And with that, his arms are looking decent for now, so we could finish his helmet. Now on these old scuba helmets, they have a little chest piece. So for this, I'm cutting out this round bit of clay, sticking that underneath the helmet. Using my finger, I'm mashing the top part into the rest of the helmet. I do the exact same thing for the back side, cutting out a little circle, blending it in. And to finish it off, I take this long strip of clay, wrapping it around the neck portion, lining up the back seam and blending it in. Then go around with my X-Acto knife just to kind of clean up the edges. So I was happy with how that was looking. We can move down to start to gussy up his chest plate. For this, I'm just taking another thin strip of clay, wrapping that around the outside of that. As I had that sliced off and looking good, I can then take the back end of that needle that I was using before to add those little bolt holes. Bolt holes? That's not right. Rivets. That's what I'm thinking of. Bolt holes is one slip of the tongue away from being something totally different. But anyway, I'm gonna be going over top of his arms with the grippy portion of my X-Acto knife to give it some texture. But with that, he's looking pretty good so far, so we could go ahead and pop in the oven for another bake. And with Captain Cutler back from the depths of the oven, we could go ahead and start on his legs. Much like the arms, we're going to be basically doing the exact same thing, taking that piece of armature wire and coating it with that bacon bond, then going with a nice thick rolled out loaf of clay, slotting that up that piece of armature wire, doing a little bit of refinement before doing the exact same thing for the other side. Then we can go ahead and cram those into the bottom of the body. Once I was happy with the position of those legs, I could then go in with my dirty phalanges to blend those into the rest of the bod. And after that vigorous rub down his legs were looking a little too smooth, so we're going to be going in with my silicone sculpting tool to start adding some wrinkles and make them look a little bit better. But then again, he is a swimmer, so maybe the smooth look was the way to go. But he is wearing pants, so wrinkles it is. But after wrinkling up his pants and giving him that same texture that his arms got, we can go ahead and move on to his belt. For this, I'm starting off with a strip of flattened out clay, wrapping around his torso, slicing off that little excess bit, and then tucking that belt in. As I was happy with the placement of that belt, we could start adding some little utility pouches on the side. For this, I just made some little squares of clay that I cut out. And we're just gonna be sticking those around the belt. I also made this little cylinder bit here just to give the belt a little more variety. Finish it off by adding this little buckle that's gonna go across the front. Forgot that the belt splits in two, so we are gonna be adding this little slice here. With that, the belt's looking pretty good, but we are gonna add a little bit more detail to those pouches. Take a flattened out silicone sculpting tool, drawing these little lines on the top. This is gonna give a visual separation from the upper flap and the lower section. With that, he's looking pretty good, so we can go ahead and pop in the oven for another bake. And now that we got Captain Kirk's body back from the oven, we could go ahead and start working on his boots and gloves. To make his boots, I'm gonna start off with a dank nug of clay that I start to mash and form into this little booty shape. I have that all nice and smoothed out and looking pretty good. We could go ahead and start adding some details to this boot. Now the tips of his boots, I want them to be covered with this metal sheeting, so we're just gonna be taking a strip of clay, wrapping that across the front, blending that down, slicing off those little excess bits. I then go around with my X-Acto knife, drawing these little lines around, just making the boot look a little more interesting. After I add this little buckle, make the buckle more interesting using that X-Acto knife as well. And with that, his boot's looking like a futuristic curb stomper, and I'm pretty happy with that, so we can go ahead and make another one off camera, and then stick those onto the bottom of his legs. While I'm sliding these booties onto his leg nubs, I just want to say thank you guys so much for checking out the video so far. I really appreciate you guys being around and supporting this channel. If you guys are enjoying this video, I'd really appreciate it if you can hit that like button. It lets YouTube know that I'm not a loser and that this video is worth looking at. But now that his booties are locked into place, we could go ahead and move on to his hands. Starting off with a small ball of clay, go ahead and smash all the ends down so I have a little square that kind of looks like a dice. You can then go in with a silicone sculpting tool to start to shape out the fingers, starting with the bottom portion, then adding some side of the hand wrinkles. I can then go in with a wedge-shaped sculpting tool to actually define those fingers. Once I was happy with the definement of those fingers, I could go ahead and add his knuckles by adding these little divots. As for the thumb, I'm just using this little piece of clay that I lay across the front, blending that in as well. And with that, I went ahead and made the other hand off camera. So we got ourselves a couple of Arthur fists that we can now stick onto the end of his wrists. So after I got that stuck on and blended in, I'm going to be wrapping around a piece of flattened out bit of clay to make the upper section of the glove. And with his fist in place, his body's looking pretty good, but we do need to add his air tank. I went ahead and drilled a hole in the back of his head that I'm going to be inserting this piece of armature wire in. This is going to be the hose that connects from the helmet to the air tank. As for the air tank, I'm going to be rolling out another Tootsie Roll of clay, rounding off one end and flattening off the other. Add this little knob on top just for some visual interest. And just to spice it up even more, I'm going to be adding these little bands that go around the top and bottom of the tank. And to finish it off, and just take that piece of armature wire, sticking that down the center. Once I had that pressed in, I could go ahead and take that, shoving that into the back of his head, doing a little size check. I was pretty happy with how he was looking so far, so we could go ahead and pop him in the oven for another bake. And with Captain Cutler back from the oven, I did realize that I forgot to add all the little things that make him creepy, and that's the seaweed and the barnacles hanging off him. So for this, I'm gonna be starting off with a very long strip of clay that I'm gonna be wrapping it around his head. I'm just gonna be kind of playing with it. There's really no method to this. I'm trying to make it just look naturally hanging. How I made this long strip was I just rolled out a really thin piece of clay and then put it through my pasta maker, and actually had this nice little frayed edge on the end. So I was pretty happy with how that came out. I don't think I show it, but I do add a little barnacles on his head and chest plate. But with that, he's looking pretty good, so we could go ahead and pop it in the oven for its actual final bake. And now that we got Captain Cutler back from the oven and looking as baked as Scooby and Shaggy, we can go ahead and pop off his little air tank and then start the painting process. As per usual, I like to start things off by giving the entire thing an initial base coat of its initial base coat color. For this, we're gonna be starting off with his boots, gloves, belt, and helmet, and we're just gonna be actually base coating these black. Since we are gonna be using a lot of metallic paint here, I feel like the best way to make metallic colors pop is by giving them a darker base coat. And then as for his belt, gloves, and boots, we are gonna be doing a dry brushing, but we'll get into all that later. I actually had a lot of fun painting this sculpture. I really like giving things a weathered look, and so I gotta try out a lot of new techniques that I've never actually done before, especially on the helmet. I almost forgot, but we do base coat that air tank that same black color. But with all that done and fully dried, we could then move on to his suit. As for his scuba suit, we are gonna be mixing up this very light khaki color. For this, I'm mixing up bone white, a little bit of this color called leather brown, and some black just to kind of give it more of a grayish tone, I guess. Really just watering this down, letting it sink down into all those little details that I added. But once we had his legs, arms, and torso completely coated, we're gonna go ahead and let that completely dry. Then from there, we can move on to the seaweed that's around his head. This color I made by mixing up a color called dark green and a color called goblin green. Just go around giving it a couple generous coats. Once that was fully covered and dry, we could actually start making this bad boy come to life. We're gonna start off by painting the entire body with this wash of this color that I made by mixing up sun yellow and leather brown. The whole idea with this is we're kind of just trying to stain the suit and make it look real muddied and nasty. After coating the entire body, I do mix up a thicker version of this, going over his armpits, groin, around his ankles and wrists, and kind of darkening up some of those shadows. I was pretty happy with how that was looking. I do go over top of the seaweed with that same wash just to give it a little bit more variety in the greens. So I was happy with how that was looking. We can then go on to his belt. For this, I'm gonna be dry brushing a brown over top, and the brown I'm using is called Beastie Brown. It's kind of like a darker version of that leather brown. The reason I'm dry brushing it on is so we could have some of that black poking through to make it look a little weathered. And to really sell the leather look, I'm gonna go in with that leather brown, going over the corners and kind of where all the seams are. I feel like this helps really give it that natural leather look. It's pretty happy with how the belt came out, so we're gonna go down to his gloves. For this, I'm just gonna be using that Beastie Brown, dry brushing that over top of the entire surface. And then I finish it off by using that leather brown just over the knuckles and anywhere where the hand would bend a lot. Once I was done with the other hand, we're gonna be doing the exact same thing to the boot. Starting off with that Beastie Brown, finishing it off with that leather brown, and calling it good. But with all the leather parts completed, I could then start to paint in the chrome bits. Starting off with this color called dark gunmetal, I'm gonna go over his buckles, little container on his belt, tips of his shoes, and the buckles on his shoes. This color straight off the bottle looked pretty good, but I do want it to look a little more weathered, so I'm gonna be going in with a dry brushing of silver. Gives it a little bit more shine, a little bit more variety. And with that, I was pretty happy with how those little chrome parts were looking, so we could go ahead and move on to his helmet. We're gonna start things off by going over the entire helmet with this copper dry brushing. I actually really liked how this copper was looking. It's a different paint than I normally use. I don't even think it has a brand. It's just super cheap metallic bronze paint, but it came out good. Once we had the entire helmet completely coated, we could start to add some of that oxidization. Now, I've always wanted to try this technique out, but I never have had the opportunity until now, so for this I mixed up a kind of a mintish color, really watered it down, and I'm going to be focusing on the cracks and all those little rivet holes. And I go around just coating pretty much the entire surface. I'm kind of going a little overboard with this on purpose, because I know I'm going to be going back over top of it with a dry brushing. For this, I'm actually mixing up that same bronze, but adding some gold to it just to give it a little bit more variety. And I'm just gonna be dry brushing over the top, stippling it in some certain areas. And with that, his helmet's looking nice and weathered. So all we gotta do now is paint those little barnacles that are on his helmet and chest plate. For this, I'm just using that bone white, and just kind of stippling it on top. Pretty happy with those came out, and that pretty much completes the painting process on him. So now we could set him aside and work on his air tank. I initially was going to use that dark gunmetal, you could kind of see it there, but I decided it was a little too dark, so we're just going to be going over top of it with a base coat of this silver. And then as for this little label that I added onto it, we're going to just be painting that with a bone white. Once I had all that thoroughly coated and fully dried, we could go ahead and start actually adding little details. Now, since these labels are so small, I'm just gonna be kind of doing the illusion of actual words and details. So for this, I'm just gonna be using some black and yellow paint, just scratching in these little designs here. And once I was happy with how those labels were looking, that pretty much completes the entire painting process. So the last thing we need to do is actually make the glass behind those bars look more like glass. So for this, I'm going to be taking some UV resin. We're going to be sticking that in between those bars, and then using a toothpick, I'm just going to be spreading that around. And then we finish it off by taking a UV light, giving it a good old blast. And with that and a little bit of off-camera detailing, we're onto those JCPenney glamour shots. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and also leave a comment down below of who you would like to see me sculpt next. I'll see you next time.